Good afternoon, Panthers. I hope everyone had a nice and relaxing Thanksgiving. I'm sure it was different than years past, but I hope it was enjoyable. Our teachers and staff returned from the Thanksgiving break in high spirits, and we have not experienced the influx of COVID cases the rest of the county has thus far. At this point, we have only had 3 cases in our district, one of which happened over break and did not impact or touch the district in any way. Therefore, there was no parent broadcast. With changing guidance from the Department of Health and the impending cold and flu season, the intent of this update is to both inform you and provide a few reminders of our procedures. Yellow, orange, and red zones are now daily topics of discussion in the media and in the education world. As of today, we are not designated as a color zone. I want to restate that. As of today, we are not designated as a color zone. However, with Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, and Erie County COVID rates rising, we could at any point become designated. This designation will be based on the rate in the region, not on our district rate. The following outlines the requirements of the district if designated. So if we become a yellow zone, within the first 2 weeks of being designated as a yellow zone, we will need to test 20% of our staff and student population. If our positivity rate after this testing is lower than that of the yellow zone's overall 7-day average positivity rate, we will not have to test again. If we're designated an orange zone, we will have to test over the course of a month with a certain percentage each week, 20% of our staff and students. If we are designated a red zone, that percentage goes up to 30% and is done over the course of a month. Due to this fact and the fact that at any point we could be designated, we are attaching to a letter that will go out tomorrow, consent forms to help us be better prepared as a district. Please fill out this form and return it to your child's teacher. This gives us consent to test your child for COVID-19 if we are designated. I want to make special note that we will not be testing your child unless we are designated. And if we are at a point where we're designated as a yellow zone, orange, or red, those tests will be administered by trained professionals in our district in collaboration with the Chautauqua County Department of Health. I don't know what type of test we would be giving yet. I know that there is a swab for your mouth. There's 2 different types of nasal swabs. That's at the discretion of the Chautauqua County Department of Health. They would provide the test and it's their lab that would complete the testing for us. We would simply do it on site and some of our school personnel would be assisting in this process. I've been asked a few times by people in the district what drives our decision to stay in person or pivot to a remote instruction structure. I realize districts around us, some of them have had to go remote for weeks at a time or days, or some are remote through January. This is really a district by district decision based on a couple different factors. Our district is committed to staying open and in person and keeping remote instruction only on Fridays as long as we have enough staff to adequately staff the building. With cases rising and the need to quarantine and our lack of substitutes, obviously that could be impacted. If we have too many staff members that are quarantined to physically operate, we will have to pivot to remote. At this point, we've been very lucky and things have been going well in that regard. The other factor that drives our ability to stay in person is any directive we get from the county health department, the state health department, or the governor's office. Obviously, if I'm told we need to go to remote instruction for the safety of our students and our staff, that's when that decision will be made and communicated with all of you. The latest press update from our governor actually stated that he's prioritizing K through 8 schools. And I'm seeing a lot of research coming out in this way that K through 8 needs to stay in person. So I'm hoping that we will get through this entire time in person. Fingers crossed. Part of this is due, though, to the fact that our community's been so awesome with testing. Our staff has been really safe. So thank you for that effort. I would like to encourage you to please, if your child is sick or exhibiting any COVID symptoms, please keep them home and seek medical care. This is something that helps the whole organization stay open for in-person instruction. If you find yourself in a situation where your child is tested and comes back positive for COVID-19, I wanted to reiterate some of our procedures as these have changed. So if you get a positive diagnosis for your child, you're going to want to keep them home. Then we ask that you please inform the school nurse or building administrator immediately. This will allow us to set up remote instruction for your child and work with the county health department to assess if anyone else in our building needs to be quarantined for the safety of the whole group. The guidance surrounding school protocols and COVID-19 has continued to evolve, as I stated earlier. So due to this fact, we've also adjusted our screening form that we ask that you ask yourself and your children every single morning. That new screener is attached to this letter and can be found on our website. If you have any questions about what is on this document, please feel free. I would ask you to please note the bottom guidance for if you answer yes to any of the questions, as that has changed slightly. Also, please know that if your child does exhibit a symptom and is kept home, one of the biggest changes that has happened for us as a school, and I know it is frustrating to parents, is that if you take your child to the doctor and they are not tested for COVID-19, we will need an alternate lab tested diagnosis to have your child come back to school prior to the 14-day quarantine ending. So that means just saying your child is sick doesn't work. We can't have them back in district in person. That is new guidance that came out. I communicated that in my letter in November, but I know that there's been a lot coming out of this office, so I just wanted to reiterate that. Also, one final reminder from us, our emergency early release day was scheduled for a remote Friday. So once again, that has been scheduled for December 23rd. This was communicated in November and we wanted to reiterate it now. The times are the same. High school students will be evacuated and released at 12:30 p.m. Elementary students will be evacuated and released at 2 p.m. This means if you pick up your child, please pick them up that half hour early. And if you expect them home on the bus, please anticipate them half an hour earlier than they normally are. Thank you to everyone who participated in the survey I put out last month. We got great feedback this time that will inform our practices moving forward. Thank you for your continued support. Please reach out to me with any questions. I've had a few parents reach out and it drives these updates. If I get questions from parents, we really want to be responsive to those questions. And I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Thank you.